Previously on the Midnight Channel. This hand right here is also kind of interesting. Yep, just a not even power charged. Die for me. And we can trade in Power Slash for the better version. I mean, Naoto technically, but seriously, who uses physical attacks on Naoto? The army of Theodores has invaded. Divine Pillar, you take half damage, but you can't dodge. Oh yeah, and you're just the exemplar of a well-behaved member of society, aren't you? Yeah, I may as well get rid of Ice Break. I just wanted to use it for that fight. But I guess I can try out Niflheim. There's nowhere to go. Well, okay, nothing to lose, I guess. Welcome to the real dungeon, Magatsu Mandala. I kind of like Ice Amp on Teddy. A lot of enemies in here really don't like Naoto. Yes. Debilitate. Revolver Blade, normally a great skill, just not really on Naoto. What you really want to do in this fight is use a big Mind Charge attack and take them all out at once. Otherwise, they'll continue to multiply. Now that should... Yep, it killed everything. I kind of like to keep both Wind Boost and Amp on Yosuke. You're just all secretly selfish like I am, ha 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 ha. And now... Okay, welcome back to more of Persona 4 Golden. I have a lot of potential fusions I could do here, several ultimate personas, but I kind of want to go for Masakado and Hachiman, because I'm going to need both of those for Yoshitsune, who I want to fuse in this dungeon visit. And I'm going to go for this one here, because these are 3 Shuffle Time personas, and this will also free me up to potentially summon Neburos from the Compendium, so I can fuse a better version of him into other personas. I'd really like to spread around those resistances. So, for this Masakado, I kind of just want to go for, okay then, I guess I can go for Power Charge, High Counter, and, Masuku Kaja, I guess? Doesn't really matter too much, but I do know that Masakado learns, Arms Master? For some reason, Masakado shares his, summoning quote with a certain Judgment Arcana persona, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, Arms Master on Yoshitsune is great, and you don't even need that Fusion Forecast to get it. Although if you do fuse Yoshitsune, I guess I'll talk more about that when we actually fuse him. Oh, that's weird. Hummer Boost, of all things. And yep, there's Arms Master, and it's guaranteed with rank 10 Tower. Enduring Soul's kind of nice, but Asus has the skill card for that and has that naturally. Okay, so Hachiman is the other persona that I want to get. I also kind of want Mada, but that requires me to give up Masakado. Because Mada has bad agility, but very good magic damage. And I don't even need to pass down Fire Amp from Alice because Mada learns it normally. I can also get Isis now. But she's more of a healing persona overall. Odin, but I don't really have that many good personas to fuse into Odin. And also Ishtar, but that would require me to give up Trumpeter. Oh, by the way, I actually registered Trumpeter to the Compendium off camera, because I just wanted to make sure that I didn't forget to do that. I mean, for all of these skills I got on him, Neburos is fairly cheap to summon. Baron Kartakea Neburos. Interesting. That gets me Auto Mataru and, Repel Ice to cover your weakness. Very interesting, although you already have Auto Mataru, so I guess using Kartakea on that fusion's a bit of a waste. Okay, you know what? I think I'll actually go for wait. Oh, I need Belphegor for Odin. Yeah, I was gonna try and go for, Atropos as well. But if I have Trumpeter, I don't really need Norn right now. So I guess I'll actually go for this first. Repel Fire. You already absorb Wind, so I don't need to pass that down. And I already have, like, you really only need Auto Mataru on one persona. You do learn Mind Charge naturally, though. Okay, this seems like a waste, but it will be good to pass down to other personas. And again, I already have Auto Mataru on Trumpeter. And so we have Odin. I am in your care. That's interesting, because it usually leads into the phrase "me eat you whole" if Persona Q is in. I am still so annoyed that I didn't pick that option during the playthrough. I forgot that that actually caused him to say "me eat you whole." I remember that from the trailers. I just forgot that he could say it in the game if you said the right thing. Maziodyne. Regenerate 3 is just not useful. That is a pretty good magic stat, though. Yeah, and I'm still able to get Hachiman, but it requires me to give up either Alice or Trumpeter or Loki or any combination of those. Nope, I'm not getting rid of Odin. Okay, yeah, Alice is great, and you can't pass down die for me, but... Oh, actually, wait a minute. Yep, the current compendium copy of Alice doesn't have die for me, so I may as well register that. But yeah, so sorry about this, Alice, but I definitely want... I guess I can go for my fire-amped fire skills on you, and I'll keep Absorb Physical. I guess I'll take that, because I did... Oh, actually, no, I really need to pass down Spellmaster as well. I don't like losing Fire Amp, but I can easily get that back through Mada. Whoa, yeah, I always thought Hachiman looked really cool in this game. He's like a Japanese god of victory, and doves are associated with him. I think his name means God of 8 Banners or something. Have that on kanji, I guess. I find Hachiman pretty useful against the Namatame fight, too. I used that in my first playthrough, I didn't get a chance to use it here. Instead used Koryu, which was really fitting. Okay, so the remaining components, Okuninushi, Hitokoto-nushi, and Shiki-Orji, who I can quite easily get from the compendium once I have enough money. And I think I'll keep Lilith and Kartikeya for now. I can easily fuse them. Okay, I guess that means we have 75%, so I'm actually making better progress on the compendium than I thought I would be. I feel like I was really behind with the compendium a while back, but I actually think 75% is pretty decent for now. So we get an even bigger discount on the compendium. Something that I should mention too, unlike Persona 5, you can get 100% of the compendium in Persona 4 without a New Game Plus. There is one New Game Plus exclusive Persona, but it doesn't count towards the compendium. I really wish P5 worked that way. Guess I can give those skill cards to Marie too, although I highly doubt I'll get the 100 skill card trophy. I think I'll be using this party because all of them have skills they haven't learned yet, whereas Yosuke and Teddy have learned everything they have. I guess I can give Chie the Rudra Ring. Kanji has a ton of HP, he doesn't really mind going through a lot of it with his physical skills. Chie, on the other hand, she runs out of HP pretty quickly with her physical attacks. Okay, and with that, let's continue from World 4 of Magatsu Mandala. It's considered separate from Magatsu Inaba, but if you go to Magatsu Inaba, then you can't go Ho-Em back out. Alright, I forgot I already went through Adachi's speech here. And yes, I've got the deep blue clothes in everyone because Chie and Yukiko are a little unique here. Chie is dressed as Elizabeth and Yukiko is dressed as Margaret. Everyone else in the party gets Theodore. There weren't many other Velvet Room attendants, but I guess we can get the dialogue here. Yes, it's not like you met the person who wore this outfit, but now you've forgotten all about it. But yes, the Lethal Elevator Attendant, that is actually Elizabeth's title in the arena games. Well, we get most of them as presents from other people. Okay, that's actually kind of funny, because that is Margaret's title in Arena Ultimax, but that came after this game. The Sadistic Stud-Keeping Secretary. It's a bit of an interesting translation, and I'll get to that later. In fact, for me, I've already talked about this, because I actually already recorded the Super Boss fight. Yeah, that uniform would work pretty well in the Amagi Inn. But yes, I promise I will explain the translation of, that title eventually. Oh hey, Risei comments this time. Undercover bellboy. Yeah, I wonder what kind of dyes they use in the Velvet Room. They're probably extracted from personas that have been sacrificed somehow. Let's not think too hard about that. Okay, I think everything here is new.
Now, what could you be weak? It's so cute.
Electricity.
Use electricity on it.
Oh no, it has Old Man Attack! And Brilliant Cyclops.
Wow, it's puny. This'll be cake.
I don't know why, I like blue metal. Like, I really like the whole idea of blue metal, especially, I don't know, I just think it looks pretty cool. And I do like how, well, it looks like they, repel that. But yeah, Games Workshop actually put out, like, an official blue metal colored paint, I think, like, Grey Knight Steel. I thought that was kind of cool. But hey, you guys are weak to ice, so let's ice them. I'm not sure exactly, like, what it is about blue metal that I just think looks really cool, but it just does. Previously, when I was painting models, well, there's, Twin Dragons. Like, the way to replicate that was to either do, like, a blue glaze over just normal steel, or just do, like, a blue wash or something. I still have some old, Warrior of Minas Tirith models, of mine that have very, very early days rudimentary blue metal, which is just like a blue paint wash over normal metal. It looks kind of funny, but yeah. Oh, hi Neveros again. I guess I'll take that, because I might be able to fuse some more personas out of that.
I gotta keep up my training.
I mean, I should probably unequip the Haikara shirt at this point, but I just like the freedom to fuse pretty much any persona that I want. And it doesn't really inflate his HP all that much. I mean, it's not like you risk dying at this point anyway, thanks to Trumpeter. Okay then. Oh, I remember you from either The Answer or from Persona Q. Likely both.
No problem.
God's Hand.
It'll be over in a flash.
Yeah, God's Hand has caused me problems, before.
No problem. It'll be over in a flash.
And I did not get any
Rhythm,
scans
don't give
there.
up now, okay?
But I guess I could try Loki. Let's see if you guys don't like ice.
Your weaknesses. Ice should work well.
Oh, I think I remember this thing now. So, yeah, there are a couple of Minotaurs later on in the Duchy's dungeon that one of them I think is only weak to ice and the other's only weak to fire, and they pretty much drain everything else. So, they also like appearing together. So that's annoying. Wow, those Gigases do not have a lot of HP.
You really get me going.
And I get, well, we haven't actually shown God's Hand yet. Oh, you crit and it wasn't even Renny Death. I'm also really liking the effect of the Ruta Ring here, but I still love, I can just picture, you know, the thing from, is it Worms that plays the Hallelujah chorus when you use the Holy Hand Grenade? I just always picture that. That playing whenever you use God's Hand. This like, Hallelujah smack. I think I mentioned that during the Persona Q playthrough. And then oh, I already got, your dialogue together. And I already got your items, too. But yeah, it became a robotic hand in P5. You know, I wasn't running low on Arc Magatamas, I was running low on Gale Magatamas. So as we proceed through this world, one random thing that I felt like talking about at some point during this dungeon visit is, so Persona 4 is a murder mystery, and I think as a mystery it works quite well, but something that you may not know about me necessarily, unless you've watched my, oh, you're new.
It's weak to physical attacks. Piece of cake.
You're also extremely dead, except you can dodge physical, which is annoying. Those things don't like ice, so Loki's gonna go to town here. But yeah, if you watch my Spirit of Justice playthrough, you might, know this, but I'm actually kind of, and I was about to say aficionado. I don't know why, I just think that term sounds kind of weird. I know, a little pretentious, but I do really like murder mysteries.
Thin 'em out
I have, like, I watch a lot of them, like, on TV, some, like, kind of older British ones, but, a few that I like are... I was about to say Midsummer Murders. Okay, Midsummer Murders I kind of like in a so bad it's good way. It's just kind of hilariously silly sometimes in the sheer number of deaths that can occur in those episodes. No, let's see what a rank 8 skill card gives me. Tetra. That's a rank 8 skill? Really? Well, at least Trumpeter got a much better skill. Why is Tetra Break a rank 8 skill? Ugh. Anyway, Heat Riser. What do I dump for this one? Because I obviously want it. I just don't want to get rid of any of my resistances. Well, I suppose I can get rid of Maraka Kaja. I mean, Heat Riser's not totally amazing, but it's still pretty solid in this game. Primal Force. I like keeping Vile Assault, and at this point, Torrent Shot's showing its age. Because Vile Assault actually does outdamage Primal Force if the enemy's knocked down. And with power, like, you've seen how much damage Vile Assault does to things knocked down by this point. But yeah, in terms of mysteries I like, again, like, Death in Paradise is somewhat similar. It's like, it's not amazing, but it does have some pretty good episodes sometimes. Oh, hi, Hands. And there's the other Minotaur that I was talking about. I think that one's weak to fire or electricity. I know it's definitely not weak to, ice. Recently, one I discovered is Murdoch Mysteries. I actually quite like that. It's Canadian, which you don't see a lot of Canadian television, but I personally find it to be actually pretty decent. But I still think the best... Oh, that's where well, I mean, that has a low critical rate anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much that I use Revolution earlier. But I still think, like, the best mystery series that I've ever seen is Ace Attorney. That's still my favorite mystery series of all time. I can't believe I discovered it on YouTube by pure accident.
Let me do it.
Please, Galactic Pump the Hand. Please, Galactic Pump the Hand. Yes! I don't think it's ever Galactic Punted a hand before.
Kick their ass.
I suppose I can try for Rainy Death on the other hand. I just found it in the recommended videos. Well, it was actually a video that was liked by Hellfire Comms, which is a commentary channel that I used to follow, which is actually what got me into Let's Playing to begin with. And this is actually really interesting. This is kind of a very, very random tangent here, but it was by a user called Adam Schwartz, and I don't, like, I kind of fell out of watching his stuff, but I recently found out that he is actually a Critical Role fan, and he goes by the name Tiamat ZX, who I've heard of a lot in, like, Talks Machina and a lot of Critical Role media. And I was just like, wow, small world, like, that guy actually is the guy who got me into Ace Attorney, in addition to doing a ton of Critical Role fan works. So that's sort of interesting. But anyway, I just discovered it randomly. I just when I found that video, him doing a playthrough of the first game, and yeah, the rest is history. I bought Trials and Tribulations. I bought Justice for All, which was the first game I played. Which, yeah, to be fair, Justice for All. Not a good Ace Attorney game to start with, I'll just say. It's significantly more difficult than the first game. The first game is definitely one of the easier ones in the series, especially the first case. And the first case of Justice for All is probably the hardest first case in the series. Yeah, they really went all out with the difficulty there. So it was a little bit tough to start with, but I still loved it. I had been completely spoiled on the final case of Justice for All because the very first thing I ever learned about Ace Attorney was Justice for All's bad ending because of the Miracle Never Happen. But I just wasn't interested back then. That was also, like, I just generally really hate bad endings, so I was kind of scared to play it. Oh, a gun for Naoto. Let's see what that does. Sorry, I'll get back into what I was saying before. Magatsu Kiba, that's like, basically Filth-Stained Fang. Fear High Odds. I like +5 to all stats, though, mostly because Naoto doesn't use her regular attack very much. But yeah, I still loved Farewell My Turnabout, even though I was completely spoiled on it. I won't say any more because if you have not been spoiled on Farewell My Turnabout, it is generally considered one of the greatest feats of storytelling in any video game. I'm not even exaggerating, like that's what people often consider it as. It's amazing. Just play it if you haven't. It's so good. Oh, hi. Slaughter Drive. That's a terrifying name. I guess I'll just try and ready. I guess I can Yastra everything. I haven't used this before. I always found it weird that a meteor shower is the animation for a physical attack in this game. But it is Chie's best AoE attack, even though it's a little unreliable. It's up to 3 hits, but potentially,
Give me a sec. I'll do a quick scan. Electricity.
Okay, well, it was good that I didn't finish that thing off, because I can zero-done it now.
Enemy down.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it has a soft resistance to its weakness.
And action.
Either that or can't use magic just sucks that much. So yeah, that, I thought I'd just go on about a lot of murder mystery tropes that I like, as well as just some of my favorite murder mystery plots that I've heard of, not really trying to avoid any direct spoilers. So I already mentioned Farewell My Turnabout, that one's fantastic. The final case of Trials and Tribulations is also fantastic, but that one really requires you to have played all of the earlier Ace Attorney games to really fully get it, and I still think as well, Ace Attorney Investigations 2, I'm biased because I worked on the fan translation, but I worked on its fan translation because I genuinely love the game that much. Okay, I interrupt this to talk about Persona 4 again. I wish you stopped being notified of Risei's level ups after she learned all of her skills, because at this point, Risei level ups mean absolutely nothing.
Ooh, a rare one. Don't let it get away.
That is the Fire Weak one. I haven't actually used Odin yet, I may as well try and use Odin here. I forgot to pass out fire to Odin. It's Hachiman who has fire, dang it. Oh well. I guess we can try out some Rainy Death on these hands here. So yeah, Investigations 2 is great. I would recommend that to anyone as well who likes Ace Attorney and just also mysteries in general. And in addition, I also think that
Here goes.
Spirit of Justice is also fantastic. Like, my favorite Ace Attorney games are, in order, Trials and Tribulations, and then it's kind of a toss-up between Investigations 2 and Spirit of Justice. They're both amazing. I think I have a slightly bigger soft spot for Investigations 2, but Spirit of Justice is also great. Like, I mean, people have turned around their opinions on Apollo Justice, I think, in recent years, but, after that was a little disappointing in some regards. I still think, it has my, one of actually, it is my least favorite case in the series, Turnabout Serenade. I do not like... I haven't seen that case in a while, I need to replay it or rewatch it, but I don't like Turnabout Serenade. The last time I played it, I just didn't think it was that good. But, and then, Dual Destinies has, like, the thing about Ace Attorney is, like, mediocre by Ace Attorney standards is still amazing. So, when I say that Dual Destiny is kind of mediocre, it's still good. It just isn't as good as the better Ace Attorney games.
Yukiko-senpai beats the enemy.
But then Spirit of Justice, I think, was definitely a return to form. That one was great, and then they haven't made another one after it. From what I've seen of Daigyakuten Saiban 2, that one's also very good, but it requires you to have played the first one because it kind of follows on from the first one, and the first one is not that great, apart from Case 3 of the first Daigyakuten Saiban. That's good. The rest of that game I don't think is all that amazing. Here we are in, welcome to Let's Review Ace Attorney while playing Persona 4. But yeah, those are among my favorite mysteries in Ace Attorney, but in terms of a few, like, other sort of vague indications of some of my other favorite mystery, Repel Light's a pretty cool skill card, mystery series, I was actually thinking about recently, there was an episode of Midsummer Murders that had a really interesting plot. It's like, it looks like a serial killing, but then it turns out to actually not be. I like having both Fire Boost and Fire Amp on Yukiko, but the problem is, what do I guess I can get rid of Medea Raha now that I have Salvation. It's more SP, but I like having double boosts. And there is a skill on Kanji that I don't want. Like, I mean, I could technically get rid of Zeodyne, because I don't really use it all that. Well, I guess I'll get rid of Zeodyne. But yeah, basically it seems like a serial killing, and then it turns out to be the reverse. Because it turns out there was a group of people who were all either hired or conspired to murder one old lady. But then it turned out the old lady was like ex-Secret Service, or she was, These things tend to be weak to light and dark. I'll try Mahama on. And she was also a Gulag survivor, and she ended up killing all of them in self-defense.
Go, Senpai, you rock!
So that was kind of an interesting spin on the multiple deaths plot. I also think there was also an episode of Murdoch Mysteries that I recently saw that had a really interesting meta twist. Again, it's hard to talk about this without spoiling it for anyone who might want to watch it, but basically, the episode played with the whole assumption in Murder Mysteries that it's never the first suspect, by the simple fact that the killer was actually counting on being the first suspect.
Another level. Gotta keep at it.
It's level up time.
Anyway, to say any more will be spoilers, but that one actually was, like, really good. I was kind of surprised by that. It's often kind of cool when they do meta twists like that. They play on your assumptions of things. Murder Mysteries in general have been doing the whole meta twist thing for a while, because, like Adachi is... Oh, that Okina enemy looks pretty cool. Looks a bit like the hallways of reformed Okina. But, like for example, I think Hachiman had fire.
Now what could you be weak? This one's a gimme.
And, yep, fire. Although that means I won't get to see Yukiko or Magatsu in these things, possibly. Oh yeah, they probably soft resist fire. But I'd miss Galactic Punt. It's so weird seeing Chie wearing Elizabeth's outfit though, because I actually have a figure of Elizabeth watching me as I record this.
Lay down and die already.
You ready, Yukiko? Okay, Chie.
But like Adachi is that classic example of the seemingly nice guy is the culprit and the obvious jerk like Mitsuo is a red herring. But then it's like yeah, they sort of go into an arms race of plot twists, because then they realize people get wise to that, and then they're like, okay, so they do a few works where it turns out that the obvious suspect, in fact, is guilty all along, and the twist is they really are as much of a jerk as they seemed. And the seemingly nice guy really is a nice guy all along. I know that one of the Ace Attorney games did a twist like that. They had a character who was so overtly nice that they'd obviously be your first suspect, and they're only to reveal, nope, they really are innocent all along. I mean, he kind of has a point, but at the same time, it also means a murderer is behind bars. Yeah, what Risei says, he's just dodging responsibility for everything. One thing that I was also going to mention is, I think that a pretty, a twist that I like when it's done well, that can work quite well in Murder Mysteries, is not me this time.
That one's immune to darkness. Give me a sec. I'll do a quick scan.
Okay then.
Oh, it's weak to physical attack.
Yeah, I could kind of figure that from the fact that you cast Tetrakan on yourself. I believe that's the Ice Weak one. I keep getting them mixed up sometimes. But, like, not me this time. In a lot of, like, children's media, it's often used for comedy. like a crime happens and everyone suspects the cartoon supervillain, and then only to find out that they're actually innocent this time and they haven't done anything. I guess I'll have you get rid of the reflect. But in murder mysteries, it's often played a lot more seriously. I find that it can lead to some pretty effective moral dilemmas when the red herring suspect is a horrible person, and like it just gives you that sense of, you know, if you really wanted to, you could let this person get convicted, but would that really be right? Would that really be justice, especially if the real killer gets away? And like, is it really justice for somebody to be convicted of a crime they didn't commit, even if they may have committed other crimes in the past? There are also some mystery plots where the killer specifically engineers something like that so to frame someone that they know was guilty of a previous crime, but that they didn't get convicted of, and they can't be convicted of again due to double jeopardy or something. And in particularly extreme cases, I've seen this plot show up in murder mysteries a lot, where somebody who's dying commits suicide, but makes it look like a murder, and frames somebody who was guilty of a previous murder for it. And their plan is either that A, the person goes down for the crime that they have been framed for, or B, in exposing their crime as actually a suicide in a frame-up, they actually reveal this person's real crime in the process. That's usually what ends up happening. But it is just, I do find it can often lead to some very interesting moral dilemmas with detectives in particular, when they have that opportunity to let basically a terrible person be convicted of a crime that they genuinely were innocent of, and it just comes down to, is that really right? I mean, like every plot, it's easy to screw that up, but when it's done well, I think it can be quite nice. I suppose one thing that I will also say though, apart from murder mysteries where the killer gets away for no logical reason, that's one of the least satisfying ways to do a murder mystery.
Be careful. There's an
Oh, you're back! Hi, accidentally offensive enemy?
Wow, it's puny. This'll be cake.
It looks pretty cool though, I admit. I remember this thing being a boss in the answer, but yeah. That is definitely a pretty offensive word in the UK, so yeah, whoever was translating that probably did not realize that. Have we even got a weakness on you yet? Some of those tend to be weak to light and dark. So I could try Mahama on, I guess. So sorry if I'm going off on a lot of stuff about like murder mystery. I just wanted to talk about this for a while because, you know, this is a murder mystery and I love murder mysteries. They're one of my favorite genres. Though my sister actually got to study them in high school, which was kind of interesting. I never did. In fact, she even studied, I think, one of the Ace Attorney games for it. But it was a little hard because in high school they expect you to like understand all of the like literary devices of the medium that you are analyzing, and so for Ace Attorney, the essay, when they mark the essay, that wow.
This one's a gimme.
Interesting. Reverse psychology. Also, you have Ragnarok. You're actually weak to the flames that are plastered along you. But yeah, they wanted her to analyze game mechanics more, and that's really hard because Ace Attorney is a visual novel, so it doesn't really have, like, concrete game mechanics to an extent, and they don't really serve the narrative all that much. So I feel like Ace Attorney should probably be analyzed more like a novel in a way. Uh-oh.
Whoa, Kanji, are you okay?
Yeah, the enemies here are still definitely capable of serious damage. Even though we are quite high levels. I'll probably need to stop fighting so many enemies here because we're getting a little strong, and some of the party members here I will want to be using for the boss fight at this place. Resisting Almighty. So many enemies in P4 do that, it's getting really annoying.
Kanji, don't strain yourself.
I guess you will blast it instead of healing. But yeah, what I was getting at earlier was a trope that I don't particularly like with murder mysteries is when somebody who is dying, either of old age or a terminal disease, commits a vigilante murder. It's used in a few things, and it just leads, at least to me personally, often to very unsatisfying endings, because usually the detective exposes who did it, and then they're like, oh, but you know what, I'm gonna die in a couple of weeks anyway, so you can't convict me, because I'm gonna die before this case goes to trial. It's just, it feels really, again, just kind of unsatisfying to me. It's not a plot that's done very often, but when it is done, it's just easy for it to come across as just really aggravating. Because I think when my sister was analysing murder mysteries in high school, like, they kind of came to the conclusion that part of the appeal of murder mysteries is seeing justice done, and in a way they're kind of wish fulfillment, because the world sadly is full of a lot of injustice, and a lot of people do awful things and get away with it. So the idea of actually seeing criminals or murderers brought to justice is quite appealing to a lot of people from, you know, again, a wish fulfillment standpoint. And that's why murder mysteries where the culprit gets away, it has to be done very carefully. Basically, yeah, it's kind of complicated. Sometimes they can succeed in making a killer sympathetic, but it's very, very easy to screw that up. So this floor is interesting. I often grind on this floor, actually, because it's a fixed floor, and it's quite a simple one to traverse. Because if you look at this, it's just a lot of straight lines. Another red shadow, or crimson shadow, probably sounds cooler. Oh, a hand. I'm gonna avoid that for the moment because I don't want to get too over-leveled here. Like, again, the enemies in this place are worth so much experience. I forgot how much experience the non-hand shadows were worth here. Another reason why I like grinding in this place is it often has a lot of guaranteed chests, and they often have shadows in them, which are often hands. I was about to say like that, but okay, that is a cool-looking machine.
No problem.
Solemn machine. It's like a fusion of Baroque church artwork and mecha. Also, it has a sword that looks a bit like the kind of knife that Izanagi is holding. So I haven't actually mentioned this before, I haven't had much of a good chance, but in the art book they actually mentioned that the kind of end of, it's less of a knife and more of a naginata, but the end of the naginata that Izanagi is using is actually based on the kind of knife that, that Japanese boys at a certain period in history would be given, like as a gift, as a proof that they were sort of coming of age.
2 enemies left. Don't lower your guard now.
So that's just kind of interesting. Huh, that Baroque church thing was actually kind of apt. Still don't know what you're weak to, though. You do seem to have a lot of HP, but weak defenses. I knew that would be a miss.
Senpai, are you okay?
Yeah, usually whenever somebody winds up that long, it's often going to be a miss. How evasive are you?
There we go.
Doesn't even have, like, dodge physical or anything like that. Okay, it does look a little bit lame when you view those textures up close. That thing, does that thing somehow have the miracle skill from FE4? Because it's like dodging everything now that it's on 1 HP. I guess I can test you for light or ice weaknesses. No? Okay, but I guess I'll try Megadola on and see what this does. It might be resisted, because a lot of things like to resist Almighty in this game.
Enemy defeated. You're off to a good start.
Okay, and... whoops. Well, it wouldn't be a Persona LP without accidentally repelling something onto Chie. For some reason, it just feels like that's often done in Persona Let's Plays. Ow, okay then, I need to switch to my invincible Personas now.
One enemy to go. Keep it up.
Should I? I haven't actually used Salvation yet. Well, I've used it outside of battle, I haven't used it in battle before. Salvation is called Messiah Riser in Japanese. And, Heat Riser is the same, but... Oh, right, you've been Heat Riser, that was probably why... I haven't even tried out Debilitate yet. I might as well do that and switch to the Invincible Persona at the same time. Yeah, Debilitate is called Randomize in Japanese, but some people think it's actually Randomize, because Rangda, in most games she appears in, often learns it. I know she gets it in Q2. Does she get it in? I think she gets it in... Is she even in Nocturne? But I don't know if she gets it in P5 or not, but I think she does get it in, wow, an enemy who actually takes decent damage from an all-out attack. That's a major rarity in P4. Yeah, Heat Riser is still Hitorizer, though. Yeah, I do kind of like the localizations there. I think it's actually called... Salvation is called Prayer in some games in the series. Yeah, Messiah Riser sounds kind of dumb. And Randomize just, like, I mean, I guess it, you know, makes the enemy easy to hit, but... Also, yeah, that's why I keep Rainy Death, by the way. It just crits so often. Okay, don't have... I could have gone for a rank 9 skill card there. I said before that you get some pretty good skill cards from this dungeon. I feel like that fight went on for quite a while, but at least we got to see a cool new enemy. Oh, hi, other enemy. And as we keep going through this, I would say downward spiral, but it's more like a flat spiral. And you'll see why I'm calling it that soon. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my random thoughts on murder mysteries, but I wanted to get that out of the way at some point during P4. Because, yeah, I just... The way that P4 uses murder mystery tropes, it's conventional in a few ways, but I thought it was really fun seeing people actually catch all the foreshadowing towards Adachi. And the red herrings, too. I even saw someone who correctly guessed that Nanako was going to be kidnapped eventually, and even the exact circumstances of it, too. Okay, so, like, we are kind of, yeah, we're quite over-leveled at this point. At least these three of us are. But through here... Yep, there is a mini-boss. It turns out we actually have a pretty good party for this, because you want physical attacks for this mini-boss. I guess I'll leave the Trumpeter, so I can debilitate. Let's go. It's Attack of Tokyo Tower! I like how creative they got with the skins for some of the giant enemies in this one.
Uh-oh, that one's immune to darkness.
And he leads with Megadolon. For a ton of damage too, so good thing Chie's here.
No problem. It'll be over in a flash.
So see all those 3s in its HP and SP? That's because Tokyo Tower is 333 meters tall. Actually not exactly that high, but it's pretty close. So this thing basically just spams Megadolon. It takes 400% more damage from physical attacks, and it resists or nulls almost everything else. But it does have a high counter. That's 20% chance of your physical attacks bouncing back at you, which is pretty bad if they're power charged. But I'm going to try power charging anyway because I'm crazy. So let's see, Yu doesn't really have a ton of good physical options at this point. But maybe he will soon, if I can get Yoshitsune. Okay, Kanji, I guess Kanji will also power charge. But then Yukiko will just be the designated healer for this fight. Because we definitely need that right now. It's going to be hitting a little less hard though, thanks to Debilitate, which is like the ultimate boss killing move. I like how Persona Q actually made it exclusive to one of the Ultimate Personas.
That's amazing.
It was even better in Q because it was an even bigger debuff than regular debuffs, and it also stacked. Can you be crits, is what I'm wondering. Okay, no cut in. That could also be repel.
Couldn't quite beat it.
Okay. I have a feeling it's probably immune to criticals, but I guess we'll see. I mean, Hit Rise is not going to do a ton for Kanji because we're already attack buffed, but I guess I can buff his agility as well to ensure that he hits. I kind of wish there was an actual trumpet sound there. And Power Charge Primal Force against something with a 400% vulnerability to this.
Damn, couldn't finish.
He almost finished it. I guess Salvation again. She could also go for Fire Break Archedynes on it, but I'll just keep us healthy. Yeah, overall, if you bring a physical party, this guy's not that bad, but his Negadolon, as you can see, hits really hard. So you definitely want to debuff its attack at least. It's a lot more manageable with an attack debuff. Because it was doing about 50% of our health in one shot before.
The grand finale is here.
And so we have successfully punched Tokyo Tower.
Ooh, congratulations.
And reached level 90.
All right, powered up.
So, after punching Tokyo Tower, Adachi's control of this world has weakened a little bit, and that means we can finally get to that room where he's in. Oh, by the way, this is why I call this place the Spiral. There's also no way out apart from doubling back or using a Goho M here. So let's do that. And normally I would go to where the boss is, but you can't use Goho M's to get out of Magatsu Inaba, so, like, I would rather head to Adachi's location once I'm ready to fight him, which will be very, very soon. 90,000. Is that enough money to... Well, I'll have to fuse away some of my other personas first, but, I'm gonna get a very special persona before fighting Adachi, let's just say. And on that note, I'll leave you, and I'll see you all next time.